In today's video, we're going to be taking a look here at our upcoming storms. We're not going to be taking a look at the current conditions today. It's going to be a little bit more of a brief video today. Today is my birthday. Matter of fact, it is March 1st, and it is a special day as well. I guess that makes it a special day for me, but for you guys and everybody in really North America, this is a special day because it is the first day of meteorological spring. So we are kind of transitioning into our next season. So it is a pretty cool day all around today. And I think Stalin died today. That's another fun fact about March 1st as well. Now, as we keep going, we can see that we get towards this afternoon, which is probably when you will see this video, and we see that there is a pretty strong low here near Nevada here. And then also we can see that there is a little bit of a weaker low here across the upper Midwest, causing some snowfall. I don't know why that just kind of went away. We can see this storminess in here. We do have a slight risk at severe weather all the way from about Dallas, Fort Worth through into kind of southern Arkansas here. The Little Rock in there. Areas like that. We have an area like this of slight risk. And that's this right here. That's those bad thunderstorms. Hail, perhaps an isolated tornado, and even damaging wind can't be ruled out. But it's mostly tomorrow that I'm concerned about. March 2nd, Thursday. We're really going to have a severe weather outbreak, it appears likely tomorrow, as we see this low transition to these areas. We have this warm front taking place here, and it actually is going to be similar regions in here. It's going to be something like this, where we're expecting the worst of it. We're all the way up to a moderate risk thus far. High risk, obviously, is extremely rare, so I can't say that that's likely by any means. Obviously, it's possible if things trend in the worst direction. But as of this point, that doesn't seem to be the most likely outcome, obviously, at this point. I don't think it ever is, unless things just look 10 out of 10, just terrible. So we're going to continue to monitor that. We can see that this low continues to strengthen as time goes on. We see this developing between Oklahoma and Arkansas here, very strong. So warm, humid air surging. This has a very strong cold front behind it. So strong, in fact, that we see snowfall in the areas that we're just seeing thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms perhaps. So this thing is really intense with the temperature difference, and that doesn't really help matters at all. So that is playing into all of these factors. We could see that by the time we're reaching Friday into Saturday, we do have a slight risk in these areas. It's smaller than that, but I'm just kind of generalizing here. But these areas expect general thunderstorms all the way up to slight risk in these areas, and that is due to the cold front underneath this low here. So we have this stretching like that, warm front up here. And then look at this major snowstorm near Chicago down through Missouri into Iowa, all the way up through Michigan and southern Wisconsin. And what this is going to do is it's going to do the same thing our low did a couple days ago. We're going to see this transition over to our secondary low that is offshore at this point. So that's the secondary low. The big L here is this primary low, but this is going to transfer all of its strength into that coastal low, and we're going to see this one take over momentarily. So it's going to take a very similar track, and there we go. We can see it's right near Cape Cod. It's just offshore of Massachusetts, and we can see snowfall for New England, New York, all of these areas. Definitely another very interesting snowstorm, and that eventually moves off. I want to talk about something real quick with this one, though, as this is one of our main talking points here. Let's just zoom in pretty far. I'm definitely concerned about mixing if this low is really this close. If it's this close to the shore right there, I'm definitely concerned about mixing, not just for these areas here that this model is showing, but if the low is this close, in fact, I think that we could see some mixing issues all the way through maybe even to the New Hampshire, Massachusetts border if we see the low that close, especially with sleet, maybe not just rainfall, but I do see the model calling for some sleet in these yellow areas here. When the low is this close, oftentimes what we're dealing with is the middle layers of our atmosphere are warmer because of that, and that is mainly what's causing this. Let's go ahead and, because obviously the surface temperature is below freezing. Well, let's take a look at the surface temperature. Well, I guess it's not, but it doesn't have to be. It's mostly the upper layers that matter. So let's just take a look here. This is our kind of very low areas. This is not that high up, and we can see that the freezing line is right about here. So certainly Rain, not even sleet in these areas appears to be the most likely outcome at this point, which is about 2 or 3 p.m. on Saturday, March 4th. As we get a little bit higher up, we can see that these areas maybe are dealing with some sleet because we see freezing temperatures just a little bit higher. And then as we get really high, we get this freezing going on. Um, Obviously, once you get to the super high atmosphere, we see cold temperatures. But definitely where we're seeing these temperatures fluctuate to above freezing. So I would say these areas here, we're going to have significant freezing or better yet mixing issues, and then up into these areas I see the surface temperature is only about 35, 37. So this might be areas where we struggle as well near the surface, where maybe it comes down to sleet, because we see freezing temperatures just a little bit higher up in the atmosphere. But maybe we're struggling a little bit up in these areas, so maybe near Boston. If the low is that close, of course, is the kicker there, though, because if the low, let's say instead of being here where it is, let's say it's where I'm putting the yellow right now instead, let's say it's like here, that makes a world of difference. So this model, if it's slightly off with the low placement, we're taking a look at a whole different scenario. So I just wanted to kind of break that down. Since this low is expected to be so close to the coast, there is some implications that come with that. By the time we're reaching March 7th, what we do see is a continued trend in our kind of same story we've seen all winter long for the most part. We see really a trough out west and a bit of a ridge in the east seems to be what we're seeing here. And as we just continue things on, we can see that we don't get any major storminess for the most part, all the way from about the 5th through the 11th time frame, except we see this one finally moving onshore right around the 11th. But take a look at our temperature pattern, guys. Major trough in the east. Major ridge developing in the west, perhaps. So we see cold air surging into the east here at the end of the model run, which we've been talking about that midpoint of March, if you remember, for a few days now. And we do see this ridge really fighting back in the west, which is going to encourage even more dramatic troughing in the east. There's only so much cold to go around, so the more we see, like for instance, the jet stream's doing this, so we have a little bit of a softer trough. If the jet stream was doing this, we'd probably see something more like this, a much more dramatic trough as well, because of this dramatic ridge. But it's all upstream, downstream. That's kind of the analogy I've always used. So everything's always moving from west to east, which means west is upstream, east is downstream. Whatever's happening upstream here, for instance, our PN A right here, I don't know why I drew it sideways, but our PNA, which is typically this area, Pacific North American Oscillation, that is going to play a huge part in everything that happens east of that point. So the central and the eastern United States. We've talked about that during the fall, especially, and even into the winter, where it didn't play as much of a role. But that has certainly been a large talking point for us here on the channel for quite a while. I hope this has been a little bit educational. Real quickly, here's the upcoming precipitation. As we can see, as storms move onshore to the west, we are getting some precipitation for sure, an above average amount over the next 10 days, and really the previous 10 days as well. They move over the Rockies and plains where it's very dry, and they break up a little bit. We see less precipitation falling in these areas, but they quickly redevelop once they reach these kind of eastern plains, is what I'd call them. So we see some moving up here, quite a few moving down here as well, and even seeing some slide off the coast. We're seeing quite a bit of these lows move across. They mostly start in this area here, and they pick things up pretty much where they left off, as you can see, with very heavy precipitation. Now, the total snowfall here, we can see that there is very large amounts still expected out west. A little bit less expected out east than what you probably saw yesterday. You're probably wondering what's going on with that. That's just because we saw the ongoing snow from yesterday, obviously is not included anymore here. And that is the main factor as to why you're seeing less here. This is just one snowstorm, and as of yesterday morning, it was 2 snowstorms worth of snow that we were seeing on the map. So we have deducted the amount that has already fallen, and now it appears like less, but it's really the same amount, or if not more, than what we were seeing the model call for with this storm as of just yesterday. So we can really tell what the jet stream is going to do for the most part for a while. But once we see this take place, the kind of annoying thing is that we don't see any storms moving along this jet stream, which would be what would cause snowfall to happen south of these areas in here. So we don't see any of that taking place yet. We're going to continue to monitor the situation. We will obviously upload every single day like always. But as of now, again, we don't really see anything popping up. But I'll let you know when we do. Thank you guys so much for watching as I'm reaching another birthday here of still uploading these YouTube videos. I realize that I don't have to make these videos every day. I get to upload these videos every single day for you guys. And it's a little bit of a perspective shift, but I am so thankful for getting to do this for you guys for another year of my life here. And I'm so appreciative that I get to kind of live out my dream that I've had ever since I was young. You know, I didn't think I'd be making weather videos, I don't think, but I guess it's the dream that I didn't know I had as a kid. Just getting to talk about the weather here on the channel has been amazing, and I really do love the weather, guys. I hope you can see through the way I talk about it. I hope that I'm always keeping a positive attitude. Again, uploading every single day, right? So it does get, you know, a little bit like an everyday task, but I really am excited, and typically I am looking forward to seeing what the models are changing with certain storms, even if it's not hitting my area. I am just excited in general. So anyway, I just wanted to say a little part there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, leave a comment down below. It helps me out so much. And I'll see you guys in the next video.